Rally from Madison Square Garden with former President Donald Trump, where we are hearing scores of lies from the former president. He has come on stage and said a number of things that are just not true, starting with a number of things on immigration. He repeated his lies that there was no relief money for victims of the hurricanes in North Carolina and Florida and other states because he claims that the government gave it all to migrants and that there was none left. That is patently untrue. FEMA had to set up a website to debunk that, and some people have not gone and gotten help that they needed because of those lies. He also repeated another lie that in Springfield, that thousands of immigrants were dumped in Springfield, Missouri illegally. In fact, the city website says that Haitian immigrants are there legally under the Immigration Parole Program, and that they independently chose to move there. They were not sent by any program. Again, we have heard a number of lies. He also started talking about the fact that he thinks Kamala Harris would put a draft in place. It's worth noting there is no active draft in place. He has also talked about the economy, when a number of economists have pointed out that the tariffs that Trump continues to talk about and want to put into place would harm the American economy and truly harm American consumers who would see the prices of goods go up, and that there are real concerns about what those economic policies could lead to. We do have Kristen Holmes there.
I am so glad to see Tapper hold J.D. Vance accountable like this. We needed more interviews like this throughout this entire election cycle. Better late than never, I guess, but this should be the standard. Call them out with the same fervor with which they attack our country. Call them out and hold them accountable in the same way they want to attack our democracy. We need more of this, and we're going to keep talking about it on this show every single day. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you've stuck around until the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you soon.
And I think with our little secret, we're going to do really well with the House, right? Our little secret is having a big impact. He and I have a secret. We'll tell you what it is when the race is over.
He is saying the quiet part out loud. He said, after the race, we may or may not let you know about our little secret in the House. Donald Trump is explicitly stating that if he loses this race, they are once again going to try to challenge the results of our election. But this time, there will be a Republican Speaker of the House to help Donald Trump execute his plan. That should terrify us all. He is openly admitting it. He says it's our little secret that only we've talked about. That is terrifying. How are more people not talking about this? Donald Trump is openly admitting what he wants to do. And this should alarm us all, especially with the extreme language he's using when talking about Mike Johnson in this clip right here.
It's not easy when you have a majority of 3, but he's done a great job, and he's going to continue to do a great job, and we like him. He's a terrific person. I watched him just totally decapitate a fake reporter on NBC, Meet the Press, Meet the Fake Press. What he did to her was, I think that probably she'll never be the same.
Now, we covered the interview on Meet the Press that Donald Trump is referring to with Mike Johnson, and I don't think he decapitated the reporter, which is some pretty deranged and extreme language to use about an interview. I remember it going something like Mike Johnson completely falling apart as his lies were exposed. But I know Donald Trump doesn't really have a strong memory. There's not a lot going on up there at this point in time. Clearly, Mike Johnson's brain is not working too well either, because before we get to Melania, he said this during his speech.
We revere the founding principles. We revere our Judeo-Christian foundations. We revere individual freedom and limited government and the rule of law and peace through strength and fiscal responsibility, free markets, human dignity, secure borders.
The GOP is the party of law and order? You mean the party that is about to try to break our election laws again? The party that sent violent insurrectionists to the Capitol to attack police officers? And the party whose nominee has 34 felonies to his name? That's the party of law and order, Mike. Really? Are you serious? These people are a joke. They're hypocrites. They're ridiculous. And what was also ridiculous was the speech that Melania Trump gave to warm up her husband before he came on stage. When he did, it got awkward. But before we get to that, let's take a look at some of this speech. It's a difficult watch, so we'll keep it short.
Crime is on the rise, while public safety diminishes, creating an environment where families with young children choose to relocate. And this story repeats itself from coast to coast across our nation. This is America.
That was a difficult watch for the eyes and a tough listen for the ears, especially for the ears. But it only got worse for Donald Trump when he was introduced by his wife. I almost said ex-wife there. I wanted to maybe soon, probably soon. And I'm saying probably because of this moment right here. I guess Donald Trump didn't pay for the onstage kiss package with Melania at this event. We know that her speaking fees have been paid to appear at Trump campaign rallies or events, so I don't think he opted for the deluxe deal this time. That was a pretty awkward, half-hearted moment. You could see her like, no, I'm good, I'm good. Please don't. She looked as uncomfortable as she is. But that wasn't the only bad moment for Donald Trump. There were plenty. One moment in particular is being absolutely destroyed online, and we are going to get into that. But before we do, CNN put together a couple of fact checks on this event that I think are great, and I think we should watch.
We're watching a rally from Madison Square Garden with former President Donald Trump, where we are hearing scores of lies from the former president. He has come on stage and said a number of things that are just not true, starting with a number of things on immigration. He repeated his lies that there was no relief money for victims of the hurricanes in North Carolina and Florida and other states because he claims that the government gave it all to migrants and that there was none left. That is patently untrue. FEMA had to set up a website to debunk that, and some people have not gone and gotten help that they needed because of those lies. He also repeated another lie that in Springfield, that thousands of immigrants were dumped in Springfield, Missouri illegally. In fact, the city website says that Haitian immigrants are there legally under the Immigration Parole Program, and that they independently chose to move there. They were not sent by any program. Again, we have heard a number of lies. He also started talking about the fact that he thinks Kamala Harris would put a draft in place. It's worth noting there is no active draft in place. He has also talked about the economy, when a number of economists have pointed out that the tariffs that Trump continues to talk about and want to put into place would harm the American economy and truly harm American consumers who would see the prices of goods go up, and that there are real concerns about what those economic policies could lead to. We do have Kristen Holmes there, who is in.
As can be expected, there were a lot of lies and a lot of fact checks, many more than just in that clip right there. Of course, one of the most notable moments was when a so-called comedian made a disgusting joke about Puerto Rico. I don't even want to use the word comedian. I think you all know where I'm going with this. That joke was immediately crushed by AOC and Tim, and it's a clip we just have to watch because it was a perfect takedown.
These are terrifying.
Absolutely wild times. It really, really is. And, you know, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay, all right. Okay, we're getting there. No.
Who is that jackwad? Who is that guy?
Actually, I think that's Tony Hinchcliffe, which is super disappointing. I mean, he's a comedian. I don't follow
look, Trump,
this like
this
crew
issue
very
with Puerto
closely,
Rico
but
again. I saw it. This was when he went down after Helene, the horrific hurricane, people there, everybody coming together. We sent helicopters down from Minnesota and personnel. You know how you do this during this? And in the first hours, Trump complaining about the response. Does anybody remember how he responded to Maria in Puerto Rico? It was absolutely horrific. Down there insulting people, throwing it. Look, I know that the folks who are on here today understand this. People in Puerto Rico are citizens. They pay taxes and they serve in the military at almost a higher rate than anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, it's like super upsetting. Obviously, it's super upsetting to me. My family is from Puerto Rico. I'm Puerto Rican. And like the thing that is so messed up that I wish more people understood is that the things that they do in Puerto Rico are a testing ground for the policies and the horrors that they wish to, and that they do unveil in working class communities across the United States. And I need people to understand that when you have some a-hole calling Puerto Rico floating garbage, know that that's what they think about you. That's just what they think about you. It's what they think about anyone who makes less money than them. It's what they think about the people who serve them food in a restaurant. It's what they think about the people who fold their clothes in a store. Like,
You're
dude,
right.
are you serious?
The
Like, are
privilege
you
of being-
serious?
Yeah, the privilege of being on this campaign is traveling across the entire country. There are hundreds of thousands of Puerto Ricans across in battleground states that need to send them a message on this.
I want them to like
gotta vote.
roll that. I want everyone in Philadelphia to see that clip. If
Yes.
you live in Philly, why don't you go and see that clip?
Reading, yes.
If you
across
live
this
in
country.
Reading, Pennsylvania, which I was there, I was in Reading last week. If
You-
you're in Reading,
great
if you're in
community.
Philly,
Super, yeah.
look at that trash. Like, what is trash is people actually just thinking of other human beings that way. Are you actually for real? And the thing that gets me is that these people their entire lives rely on working class people. If you have someone that's not there to harvest the crops that show up in your grocery store, in your Erewhon or your Whole Foods or wherever it is that you go to eat, if you think lesser of working class Americans, of
Caring
people
for
who
our children.
It is the enemy's list versus the to-do list. Could it be any clearer than that? No, it couldn't. How can anyone watch anything that went down tonight and say, you know what? I think I like this MAGA group. The individuals breaking the law, making xenophobic jokes, and having bad relationships with their wives who would want to be a part of that? I certainly don't. We're going to be talking about this every single day on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you've stuck around until the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you soon.